Hey everybody, it's me again. It's the girls again. Today, number 114 in the Criterion collection, My Man Godfrey, directed by Gregory LaCava from the United States from 1936. This is it's a fun, interesting little rom-com sort of. So our main character Godfrey is a homeless man, and he's living in a homeless encampment when this rich socialite who is just an utter, we'll say brat, because I don't have I done my theory on swearing before for entertainment. I'll do it real quick. Why not? I am personally not offended by swearing. I don't care. I swear all the time. But when it comes to the content I create, the podcast, this series, most YouTube videos, I tend not to swear because of people like my mother. See, if my mother goes to a rated R movie and it's a really good movie, she almost inevitably comes out of it and goes, well, that was a good movie, yeah, but I don't know why every other word had to be F this and F that and F this, and I just don't get it. And I will admit, my mother is probably in the minority. However, I think it very unlikely that there's anybody who comes out of a really good movie and goes, you know, it was an alright movie. Would have been better if they'd said fuck like twice more. If they just said the F word two more times, movie would have been perfect. So, from this logic, if people like my mother exist, but people that are like, oh no, they needed one more F bomb for this movie to be great, don't exist, then swearing can only lose you an audience. Now, I only apply that logic to the stuff that I make. I never tell other people how to live their lives. I follow plenty of people who swear in their content, and again, I'm not offended by swearing. It's just kind of a personal choice I make with my own content. So we're going to go ahead and call the woman. I know, I actually used the word in that example. Moving on, we're going to call her a brat. It doesn't begin to describe the depth of her brattiness, but we're going to use that one. And this very well to do brat is on a scavenger hunt, and part of the scavenger hunt is finding a forgotten man. So if she can find a homeless person and drag him back to the hotel where they're holding the scavenger hunt, she can win. This seems all kinds of gross. Doing a scavenger hunt that involves like bringing in a homeless person to display, endlessly gross. She offers Godfrey $5, and he instead just like he doesn't touch her, but he walks towards her menacingly, and she trips and falls into a pile of ashes because he has no desire to be on display like that. The brat's younger sister is there. The brat runs off. The brat's younger sister is there, and at first she's worried he's going to do the same thing to her, but then she's like, oh no, my sister's a brat. Like, I'm glad you did that. I've been wanting to push her into ashes forever. The younger sister is the main love interest of this story, and she is kind of a proto-Manic Pixie Dream Girl. The romance in this doesn't work for me because the younger sister is like an 8-year-old in the body of an 18-year-old. It's just extremely childlike. Now, she's not vicious or evil like her older sister, but she is incredibly infantilized. And also, she has that little kid energy of just like, do you want me to talk about dinosaurs now? I can talk about dinosaurs now. Do you know what my favorite dinosaur is? It's this dinosaur who does this thing, and then this other dinosaur can do this thing. And it can be cute in a kid to see that level of enthusiasm, but like if I'm an adult and I'm meeting a younger woman for the first time and that is how she acts, my response is going to be, okay, we are at vastly different levels of maturity. Like, I appreciate somebody who has a passion, but like there is a level of enthusiasm that tends to be tampered with age and maturity that is just lacking there. So the romance is a little. Anyway, he helps the younger sister win the contest in order to rub it in the nose of the older sister. And then the younger sister hires him to be a butler for them. And shockingly, he like day one, he turns out to be a phenomenal butler. And as the story goes on, we learn his background, and that I'm not going to spoil more than that, but it makes sense that he knows how a butler should act, and there is more to him than meets the eye. And it does end up being a romance between him and the younger sister, which for me, that's the only part of this movie that doesn't work. The rest of it is pretty fun. I especially like it. It dodges one trope that I love. Because my biggest issue, I hate when there's a problem due to lack of communication or people just failing to have any brains at all. And so I'm going to talk about one other sequence in the film, and then we're going to wrap this up. But the older sister tries to get the butler fired because she holds a perpetual grudge against him for the Ash incident and for helping her sister win. And when she's had enough of him, she hides a pearl necklace underneath his mattress and then goes, "My pearl necklace is missing. Somebody has stolen it." And she has the police come in. And she says, "We have to search his room. I'll bet he took it." So they do. They don't find it. And then she's like, "You have to check under the mattress. I hear that's where they always hide it." And at that point, the police and her dad and everybody turns to her like, "Oh, we see." They look under the mattress. They don't find it. That's a later plot point. But like at that moment and immediately following, everybody knows that she was trying to frame him. And it's a forgotten point at that point. And that's pretty rare. Normally that kind of trick works. So it was fun to see all of the characters actually be smart enough to understand, how would she know that it was this room? How would she know that it's under the... And she hates him, doesn't it? Okay, all right. Ma'am, knock it off. I liked that. I liked that a lot. So the romance is weird to me, but it also isn't the main thrust of the film. It just kind of happens. And the like cementing of the romance at the end is pretty weird too. The movie had to flat out tell me that he had fallen in love with her because I couldn't tell and I never would have thought that would happen. But the movie itself overall is pretty fun. So should you watch this film? Up to you. It's a decent comedy. The romance is a little weird, but it's a decent comedy. I enjoyed it. It's a black and white film, but it's in English. Hey. Next time, number 115 in the Criterion Collection, Rififi, directed by Jules Dassin from France from 1955. So, I'll see you there.